All right, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over Python classes. So a class allows you to make multiple versions of the same concept of an object. These versions, these different versions are called instances or objects of a class, where each are similar but have different addresses than each other. Let's say you want to make a program where you code like a single car, then you don't need a class structure. However, if you intend on making multiple cars, then a class will help ease the repetition of duplicating your code so many times. So we're going to start off by saying class, and we're going to make a car. So this is the start of creating a class, and now you're going to have to initialize this class. Now we'll start with a self parameter where you're able to reference yourself or the attribute of the class. Now we can make these attributes called, let's say, self.make equals make, and we're pretty much going to do the same format for all of these other parameters that we have here. So we'll do that, and we'll make dot year equals year. So we have everything the same from here down here. Okay, so now let's say we want to make a Ford GT. And now this is a car, and we have the make, the model, and the year. So if we print our new object that we just created, what happens is we're just going to be printing out the address. Now that's not fun because we really want to print out something that has these values. So what we can do instead is, well, we'll make another function inside of our class. And this is a universal function that Python takes and it evaluates it as a return string. So we can use these and we'll say, well, this car is a, let's say 2017. It's going to take these parameters that we entered. The 2017, it's a Ford, that's a GT. So now if we print it, we're going to get this car is a 2017 Ford GT. Pretty cool. Now, if we want to make, let's say, another function, because if you're going to make a game or a program where there's a car, you're probably not just going to want to print out what the car is. You might want to make a function that makes it move, maybe make a sound. So let's say we have a function rev. Now it's going to take the same parameter self as do most functions, and let's say it prints vroom, just like that. So what we have to do is, now we can keep this is a Ford GT, but in this case, we'll just get rid of it. And we'll say Ford GT. Now we're going to use the function .rev because we've already created a Ford GT and we know it's a car and it has all these attributes. So it's going to go through car in this class, go all the way down, see, oh, there's a function rev. We're going to call rev inside here. And now it's just going to print vroom, just like that. So another thing is if we just printed, let's say for GT rev, it's going to print none. And if we do just the rev part, it's going to print the address of the method or the function inside. So it is good to know that if you have the print function already and you're just going to call the function, it's best to just leave it .rev instead of printing it. So yeah, these are pretty basic commands and easy ways to initialize a class, create a class, and you can make other functions as well. Let's say if you were to, like, let's say drive, you could do the same thing and print in drive. And it gets boring if you're just going to print the thing, so if you're using a module to make an interface and things as such, you'll probably start integrating other ways for this car to move. So we could keep repeating different and brand new functions, but you pretty much get the idea now that when you create an object, you can make multiple cars. So let's say we made, okay, let's make an alpha. And this is a car. Now it's a Alpha Romeo Julia from 1989. Now we could do the same thing where we print the alpha. Okay, and we'll get this car is a 1989 Alfa Romeo Giulia. So notice we could also do the same thing where we print our Ford GT, and now we have the existence of two objects. We have two cars that are available in our code, and all we had to do was just create it, given the parameters, and it does the same things. So where these things have, let's say these are vehicles where they're cars, you could start off as a vehicle, what type of vehicle it is, and like the self.make or the self. What type of vehicle it is, and you can just create subclasses or childs of a class. So we'll go into that later, but that's all for today. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you learned something from this video.